What's going on, Lions fans? Welcome to the Pride Detroit YouTube channel. I'm Meko, joined by my guy Morgan here. And Morgan, we're here. I thought we were actually going to talk like draft before we decided to do this video, but the Lions got a lot of breaking news in terms of some key players getting big contracts, and so we got to talk about that. Break it down. What each player is getting between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, and just the overall impact that that's going to have on this Lions roster going forward. So let's start with the Sun God first. And first and foremost, Morgan, can you just kind of like break down what he got and like kind of how that breaks down once you start looking at a year by year basis?
Yeah, man. And so really big day for the Lions. Like these are two like founding members, if you will, of the Brad Holmes
Yeah.
roster, right? Like that initial draft class, and they're pillars. So like this is a huge day. So starting with Saint. So Saint got a whole bunch of money. I think it was what was it, $77 million guaranteed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very team friendly. So you're going to look when you go on to Over the Cap, if you want to look for yourself. That's the best website to use when you're looking at like the salary cap, and if you want like a thorough breakdown, right? And then you can go back and read articles that'll tell you. But I'll give you like the quick rundown here. You're going to want to look at the cap number, right? So you're going to see the base salary on the left by their age, and for Saint, like his cap number for 2024 is 4.8 million. So under 5 mil. It jumps up to 13.9 in 2025, 33 million in 26, 28 million in 27, and 41 million in theory in 2028. So what you're going to look at is the percentage of the cap, right? Because the salary cap's going to continue to grow because people love this game.
Yep.
And they can't get enough of it. So the salary cap's going to continue to increase, and that's why these contracts are so bloated down the line, because the NFL knows this thing ain't slowing down, and they can just continue to pay. It's good for the players. They make a lot of money. Generational wealth was made today, which is really cool. So yeah, that's really the gist of it. It's a really good deal for St. Brown. It's, he's currently the highest paid receiver, but we know how that goes with the market, right? Like someone else is going to set the market. The next receiver to get paid will set the market, and the next tackle will set the market when we get to Penei. But yeah, I was thrilled to get this news. Miko, how about you?
No, I was right there with you. This was like some of the best news I think that as a Lions fan you can get day before the draft. The value that Amon-Ra St. Brown brings to this football team is clearly reflected in this contract, in my opinion. And in terms of looking at this, because I know whenever like contracts kind of are given out, people typically boil it down to one thing: is it a good contract? Is it a bad contract? Does the team overpay? Is he underpaid? And like you said, Lions do Amon-Ra St. Brown justice by basically making him the highest paid wide receiver right now, and at a rate that is, like you said, very team friendly when you start to look at the cap hit per year. So I'm thrilled with this deal. Obviously, he's very happy with this deal. But Morgan, when you look at it, like again, trying to look at it through that lens of, hey, is this a good deal? Is it a bad deal? Where does it kind of fall for you?
That's a great deal because I mentioned it before, right? But these guys are pillars. You have to, paying St. Brown is more than just handing a player a contract, right? Like this guy works insanely hard. We've heard about it ad nauseum at this point, right? Like that dude grinds, like the 202 catches on the jugs machine. It's all there. He does it every day. Dan Campbell's talked about it at length. So paying St. Brown like sets a precedent. Like, hey man, you want to make generational wealth? Like it doesn't matter if you're a 4th round pick. If you come in here and like go crazy, we're going to take care of you. And so I think that's you factor that context in, and to me this is a crazy deal because yeah, it's altogether it's 4 years. It could be worth up to over $120 million at the end of the day.
Yep.
But yeah, it's great. I don't know about you. What do you think, Miko?
No, like I said, I do. I agree with you. I think it's a great deal. I think everything that you were just saying, specifically about how hard of a worker Saint is, not just like on Sundays, but leading up to Sundays as well. I think the Lions also know for a fact like this money isn't going to change him. And I think whenever Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes have been asked about St. Brown, like that's one of the first things that they typically talk about is like, this dude works regardless of the situation. And you know that just by giving him this big contract, that's not going to change. If anything, it's just going to put another battery in his back. Especially if you have people out there, Bears fans, who want to sit here and question, whether or not this is a good contract or whether or not you overpaid for a quote unquote slot receiver, which Lions fans know that he is much more than that. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm thrilled for him. It's going to be interesting, like the way the NFL is, right? It's going to be interesting to see how this contract maybe gets finagled a little bit, as the years kind of go by, just because it's very rare that the final number that you see, that 120 million number, rarely gets reached, just because, listen, teams have to be able to finagle the cap so that they can pay other people on this team. So it's really going to be interesting to see how that works kind of going forward.
Yeah, it's a good marriage of team friendly, but also still, definitely taking care of Amon-Ra, right? So it gives them some flexibility in the here and now, because we will pivot to it in a second, but we don't have the details as of right now. It's Wednesday night here when me and Meko are recording, and we don't have the details of Penei's extension yet. But Josina Anderson dropped a little, if you want to put this in a nutshell, on Twitter. Amon-Ra's new deal averages 28 mil over the first 3 years. It's a $14 million guaranteed for injury, only in the third year of his extension. So that's an odd little nugget there, but I'm sure that might just be like a new thing, right? Like just giving guys, making sure they're taken care of in terms of guaranteed money. Really, It's player friendly. We should like this.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's really good for him because I agree that is seem very player friendly. As he gets older, he starts to have a little bit more guaranteed money in the event that, hey, his body starts to get a little banged up. He at least is still guaranteed to make a nice little chunk of change a couple years down the line. But let's kind of pivot over to the other foundational player that you were mentioning that also got paid today. And I think as great as it is that Saint got paid, I'm just as thrilled though that Penei is finally going to have a salary that absolutely matches where he currently stands in the NFL, specifically on this offensive line. You had started saying it first, and I'm going to piggyback off of you. Best offensive tackle in the NFL, and he's now paid like he is.
Deservedly so, man. And I was, I think someone said it in our Pride of Detroit Slack, but like I was really happy to hear the St. Brown news, like having that over, and I was like, all right, man, I really wish they'd pay Penei. And I love that they did it in the same day, like in just a matter of a couple hours, because they're like, yeah, we know what to do. So man, 4 years, up to $112 million contract extension. Yeah, we haven't got all the details out of that quite yet, but he's the highest paid tackle in football now. And what's cool about this is our own Jeremy Reisman wrote an article about this at prideofdetroit.com, but it's actually a 6-year commitment from Penei. And I'll break it down because right now he's in his 4th year. This upcoming year will be his 4th year. And because he's a first round pick back in 2021 at 7th overall, the Lions have a 5th year team option to where they can pick that up. And then after that, it'll be the additional 4-year extension that was hashed out and signed today. So that should make you really happy, Lions fans. It makes me really happy. I'm sure you guys know how Meko and I feel about Penei Sewell on this channel. He's definitely one of the favorites. Sets the tone, breaks the team down. Like they break it down in our end zone where we sit for Lions games at Ford Field, and it's ritual, man. They like Penei kind of like stomps over to an area near the end zone, and then everyone circles around him and he goes crazy, and it's cool to witness because for a little bit there, I'm like, man, this guy's 23 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to explain that to one of my buddies. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Morgan. I almost ended a friendship today because one of my buddies was like, I don't see why everyone's so excited about this, and that he only had one good year, and I was like, bro, like you have not been paying attention. You haven't been paying attention. If that's your reaction to this Penei Sewell deal, you have not been paying attention to what Penei has meant to this team to come into the league as a left tackle, to move to right tackle, and to never miss a beat. right? Like never once look like he's learning a new position. That just goes to show how talented he is. And I know there's some people that are going to look at, like I said earlier, the final contract number, right? Amon-Ra is getting 120. Penei's deal is technically only worth 112, but the guaranteed money is different. Penei is guaranteed 85 mil. Amon-Ra is technically only guaranteed 77. But again, I think it also just goes to the value of the position. And I think when Penei is up for his second contract, I think he's going to get another big payday because, like you said, Morgan, he's 23. He'll be 28 by the time he needs his next contract. And you could almost even say by the time he's 28, he's still going to be in his prime or just getting into his prime as an offensive lineman. Like that is just insane to think about.
I mean, just he's been freaky his whole life, man. I think Brandon Thorne, who's one of my favorite follows on Twitter, definitely check him out for some offense, like some trench warfare. His Substack, it's great stuff. But he posted like a tape of just a clip of Penei Sewell as a 17-year-old, 350-pound freshman at Oregon starting. So, like just incredible stuff. And he deserves all of this. So yeah, Albert Breer dropped some details. We'll run through them here. $63 million over the first 3 years. Was due just $23 million over the next two. So then $40 million for the first new year. So yeah, okay. So the first new year off of after his team option of his 5th year. Thank you. Is rumored to be, according
after
to
his
Albert,
5th year option
$40 million for the first new year, for first year of that extension. Excuse me. So $87 million over the first 4 years. Rolling guarantee structure. So really player friendly again, right, Meko?
Yeah, I mean, again, taking care of one of your foundational players, and the thing that both of these guys have in common is that they have absolutely earned it. Right, between the two of them, you have what, 4 Pro Bowlers, four Pro Bowls, and 2 All Pros. Like between the two of them, and for again your young foundation of this team, and so like that is such a great investment of funds. Obviously, like we know, like you were saying earlier, Morgan, these contracts may get overshadowed by the next couple of guys that got to get deals, right? Jamar Chase still has to get his deal done over in Cincinnati.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson is going to get something stupid. Like I just know it. It's going to look goofy. It's going like I remember when Tyreek got his deal, and a lot of us were just like, "Holy crap!" It's going to be like that. It's going to be something silly when Justin Jefferson finally gets paid. I don't know if anybody's touching Penei's contract though. Like maybe the Chargers have to pay Rashawn Slater, something crazy, but like Rashawn Slater doesn't have Penei Sewell's resume, and so there is a possibility that Penei's contract gets overshadowed, but I don't think it's very likely when you have the likes of Rashawn Slater. Christian Darrisaw is probably going to be up for a contract soon,
and it's only going to go up because, like what we talked about at the top, right? The salary cap inflation. Like the NFL is just going to continue to make more money, and with profit sharing and under the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, it's just going to continue to make that salary cap grow, and then players get more guaranteed. If you're really, really elite, you get some of these giant guaranteed contracts that were not that long ago really rare, right, Meko?
Yeah, 100%. And so that's pretty much going to do it for this video in terms of talking about the contracts of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell. Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below. How are you feeling about the Amon-Ra St. Brown contract? How are you feeling about Penei's contract? And any type of feelings that you have about future contracts getting done in the next couple seasons or even the rest of this off season. Let us know what you're thinking there. But also be sure to head over to PrideDetroit.com because, like Morgan said, a lot more articles are going to be coming out detailing these contracts. If you want to see exactly how Penei's contract is exactly a 6-year deal, like Morgan said, Jeremy has an article up on that. Also, stay tuned to the website because tomorrow is the draft, and there's going to be even more articles and even more content going up as we try to cover the draft and stay tuned to whoever the Lions choose to pick in the first round, or if they decide to trade out. Who knows? But with all that said, I'm Meko. He's Morgan. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and we'll be sure to catch you guys in the next one.